Good day, fine people of the interwebs. Today I'm going to give you a little update on what I'm planning to do next on rear suspension and the doors. I might even do some work, you never know. So what have I been doing all week? Nothing, really, not a lot. I've got a couple of things done, I'll show you in a minute. But I've been trying to get my head around the rear suspension. As you know, I'm changing from that ridiculous triangulated four-link that I cobbled together over to more traditional leaf spring suspension system that the car had. The only difference, instead of having those knee action shock absorbers that this car would have come with, I'm just going to add, traditional shock absorbers. That's no biggie, that's easy enough. I just need to find the right length once I've got everything in place. So the problem I was having was how to attach the leaf springs to the frame, because the shackles that come with a 1936 Chevy Coupe are nothing like modern shackles. Modern shackles are very straightforward. You've got two side plates, bolt at the top, bolt at the bottom, bushing in the middle. However, these cars have got something a bit different. Now, I've been discussing with my online help, namely Randy Ward and John Hodges. Very helpful, thank you very much, guys. And I've got to the bottom of it. So let me show you what sort of shackles that these cars came with. It's kind of weird. So let's have a look at one of these springs. Let's say the front of the car is that way. That one there pivots. This one here requires a hanger, right? Now, if anyone knows about leaf springs, a hanger is fairly simple. You have usually a bolt going through a bushing, and then there's a plate that goes down here, well, actually up that way. And then there's a hole through the plate at the other side. Another bolt goes through, attaches to the frame. However, if you look at these ones from this angle, you'll see that these are actually tapered. So a normal side plate will not work unless the side plate is also tapered. You get me? Tapered. Now here's the next crazy thing about this system. You notice there's no screw or threaded section at the end to keep the plate on. So how does it stay on? And why is there no rubber bushing in there? What is going on? Right, let me show you in the PC how this works. So these are the pins that are inside those bushings I just showed you. And as you can see, they actually thread inside the bushing. These are the bushings here. These bushings get pressed into the eyelet of the leaf spring. One on each side, so obviously you need 4 for a whole set. But you're still thinking, well, how does the side plate stay on? Well, first of all, you can see there's a little hole there. Inside here is actually hollow. At the end of these, you will have grease nipples. You squirt in grease, it goes in, fills these. These are actually designed to rotate a wee bit as the spring goes up and down. So let me show you the complete shackle and how that looks. So this is what the shackle looks like. Obviously, these would be inside a leaf spring and inside or attached to the frame at some point. And the only thing holding these plates together is this center bolt that squashes it in together. There's nothing there that attaches solidly to the side plates. Isn't that bizarre? But that's what I need to buy for the back. Let me show you the front. So moving to the front of the spring, as I say, that's pointing forward to the car. These are rear leaf springs, but that's the front bushing that I'm talking about, okay? As you can see, I hacked this off because I thought I was never going to be using these. But it's quite simply basically a straightforward bushing that gets pressed into this eyelet, and then the correct size bolt goes through. Obviously, just a little hanger that I cut off. So I need to recreate a couple of these. So 4 in total. Weld these bits onto the car. That pivots. The back end hangs on the shackle. So that's how that works. So I need to order 2 of these shackles and 2 of the front bushings with the correct bolts. And then that's the install of the leaf spring to the frame sorted. But obviously I have a whole list of other parts that I need to get, but one step at a time. I want to basically be able to source all the parts I need, order them all at the same time, and get all this fitted at the same time. I don't want to get one part one week, one part next week. I just want to wait and get everything at once. So while we are waiting, or while I'm sourcing the parts that I need, what I can do is strip these springs down, give them a good clean, and paint them, get the bushings out, and then when all the new parts arrive, I can just reassemble. So that's the plan for the suspension. On a very quick note, you might be asking, why am I ditching the coilover suspension system? Quite simply, I'm not smart enough to do the coilover system properly. There's too much articulation. Let me get a shock absorber and explain the biggest issue I'm having. Right, hold on. Okay, here we have a coilover shock absorber. Okay, now in a perfect world, your shock would just go up and down. Okay, and that's generally the way it's kind of going to work in a leaf spring setup. All the shock does is go up and down. But with the triangulated, let's say this is your bolt, okay? If it was just going up and down, that would be great. But with the triangulated system, because of all the different angles, it might want to go up like that way, all sorts. And that puts an awful lot of stress on this bolt and bushing, which I could just do without, really. If my car was set up perfectly, I wouldn't have to worry, but I haven't set it up perfectly. And in order to do that, I would need to get the body off to re-weld the brackets in exactly the right places. And it also means every time you want to adjust your link bars, you're going to change this angle. So unless I was to install like, you know, those rose joints that swivel all sorts of ways, then I can't really do that. And also the problem with the rose joints, they don't have any cushioning in them. You know, like what you would use in steering linkage, where you don't want cushioning, really. That's what you would have in the suspension. So that's why I'm ditching this whole idea and just going back to leaf springs and shocks. So that's why I'm doing it. You can stop asking. So what else have I been up to then, guys? Well, I finally got this impact protection bar welded in place. I also welded a little bit of metal back up to this to make the door a bit more solid. I might even add some more metal from there to there, because the next thing I want to do is get some door cards in this thing. The door cards are going to go from the bottom up to this point here, and then I'm going to have an issue with a gap, which I need to think about. Remember, I'm not having movable windows. I'm going to have removable windows, but they're not going to slide up and down. It's just not worth the hassle for this particular door. As you can see, it's not in the best of shape, and it's got bullet holes, so I'm holding out for a couple of nice doors. I did have some big gaps in here that I've filled from the inside, so that should help with the draft prevention. I need to paint this strip. You're probably thinking, well, that's an awful big gap. Yes, it is. Don't care. I think maybe at one point when the body was off, the front got bent out that way. So stuff it. I'm not taking the body off to try and correct that. It will just do, and once I paint it, you'll never see it. So the door actually shuts quite nice now. Not bad at all. So, oh yeah, right, before I make the door cards, I'm trying to structure some sort of grab handle. Probably, I've worked out at that angle there, because if you put the grab handle too far back, when the door's open, you can't reach it. So it has to be kind of in the middle. And I want to extend the handle from there, maybe down to there and along, and incorporate some sort of armrest. So it'll go along there, up there. I know exactly what I need, and I've asked someone on my Facebook friends list if he has what I need. I'm waiting for him to get back. No rush, Liam, but you know, let me know. For today then, I want to try and remove that pin and bushing and that bushing. So let's get a closer look at how we get this out. Once they're out, I can clean it all up and it'll all be ready for the new parts. Now I'll give you a closer look at this. First thing I'm going to do is separate the leaves. No point lugging all this about if I don't have to. And I do need to get new leaf pins. I'm not sure what these are called. But I need to get a new pair of these little bolts. I don't trust them, they've been on the car a long time. They do two things actually. They keep the springs together and they also act as a locating dowel, if you like, for the base plate that your big U-bolt bracket attaches to. Oh well, I definitely need to get a new one now because I've lost the nut. Yep. Okay. Let's separate this. There we go. Right. Now I'll separate these and I'll just get the top one in the vise. Okay, here's the top one, or the bottom one, depending on how you look at it. So theoretically, this should actually unscrew. It's been in there a long time, it might be a bit tight. Let's put some penetrant in it. You know what, I should probably turn it on its side, make life easier for gravity to do its thing. That's better. So, as I say, this should unscrew. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this with a new one because the chances are I'm going to wreck this tapered end. And the new one should just screw in. And remember, these things are not going to be tight once they're in because they're designed to rotate a little bit, maybe, I don't know, 20 degrees from there to there as the shackle goes up and down. As I say, it's all a bit weird. I think I need vice grips. Let's try these ones. I know they look weird. I don't even know what they're for, but at least they're not going to destroy and chew up this taper. Yes, I know I'm replacing it anyway, but you never know. Yeah, I think I'll just work that for a while. Put some more juice in it. Because I definitely wouldn't want this snapping on the inside. Oh, I just had an idea. If you think back to that picture I showed you of a new one, there's a hole in the middle of this pin. So, if I turn this round and spray down that hole, then it actually should lubricate the inside of the threads, right? So fill that right up. Look, you can see it bubbling, so it's obviously getting through. Right, we'll let that sit for a bit. Right, let's try more persuasion. Oh yeah, that's much looser. Downside is now I can't rotate it as much as I'd like because I'm hitting the vise. So I guess we need to put the vise grips on the top. It just seems to be hitting a wall at either side. Oh, I think it's starting to go. Yep. There we go. I can hear it crunchy on the inside. Let's not go too far. Okay, we're coming out now. Excellent. So that is actually a wee bit loose. It felt tight, but for suspension wise, you don't want any looseness. Look at all that yummy rust. And that's what's inside. Oh, I'm a bit close, wasn't I? There. So I don't intend to reuse these, but I do need to get these bushings out. The thing that screws into, that's going to be fun, but we'll give it a shot. So I remembered Solo Handyman got me a set of these. You know these tools you use once a year? Well, this will actually be the third time I've used this. And I think just by chance, this end here is exactly the right diameter that I need to push that out. Let's give it a shot. Now I'm sure you could use like hammer, chisel, impact gun with a hammer thing and bash your way through it. But hey, if you've got the tool, use the tool. Right, let's see if this works. I think I might need a breaker bar for this. Ugh. Maybe not. Let me get a ratchet. I do believe that is working. You know what, I'm going to stop and rewind to make sure that the end comes back out. Otherwise I'm going to have to push that out and that's just become a bushing. Oh, I think that's what's happening. More penetrant, I think. We'll keep going. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, I think I might have just installed a new bushing. Great, just ruined my tool. Okay, updated plan then. I need to extend the length inside this. Okay, so I'm going to cut this bolt off, maybe in half, put that inside, put this back on, and that should push it all the way out. Don't want to damage the ball end on that, but it's not mega tight at the moment, it's halfway out, so we'll give it a shot. And just cut this off, put it inside, and continue. That is not short. So I'll pop that in there, and then this will go back over there. Should give me the extra distance I need, hopefully. Okay, let us continue. So technically what we're actually doing now is removing two bushings. Number one bushing is out. There we go. I retrieved my tool. So remember the other side is just a plain old bolt through bolt through a normal bushing. But it's not going to want to come out in a hurry, so let's get some penetration oil in there and let it sit for a bit. And that should come out the rubber bit okay, I guess. But as I say, no rush. Okay, that's been sitting for a little bit. Let's see if we can get this bolt out first, which has been totally hacked. Let's chop the lower bracket off. It's not like I can use that bit anyway. I kind of hacked it off and I hacked the nut off the top. So we'll just chop that. Okay, so now we can use our ball joint removing tool, I guess. Kind of looks a bit bigger than the last one. We'll give it a shot. The reason it looks bigger is because that section there, this section here is actually rubber. This bit here, oh no it's not, it's actually metal. I don't know what's going on now. Right, let's see what happens when we press this. I'm very confused as to what this is. Let's check the underside before we do anything rash. See, I don't know if this curved section is part of the bushing or if it's part of the housing. No, it must be part of the bushing. Okay, let's continue with the pushing out then. So this bushing is quite different. It's definitely bigger. The other side bushing is that size and this could actually fit inside that bushing. So that's important. I need to measure. Once I get this out, I need to measure the hole and make sure I get the right size bushing for this. But to get this out, it's going to be a bit tricky because it's kind of curved in the way and it's definitely a bit thinner over at this side. So I'm going to have to use the old hammer and chisel technique and hope for the best. Even if I can fold it in itself and then find a socket that would fit in there. But at the moment a socket would just be dancing about in the top there. I need a better chisel, this one's rubbish. That's better. Now that I've made some sort of gap, I'll put in some scoosh. Let it sit for a bit. So now that the top of the bushing is folded inwards, I've got a surface for this to push down on. There's a 22mm socket, hopefully that will do the job. We shall give it a shot. Here we go, fingers crossed. We have movement. Don't have to do anything daft with my tool this time because the socket wasn't getting stuck. Right, success. So, just for comparison's sake then, that is the rear threaded shackle for the rear suspension leaf spring. That is the front bushing for the rear suspension leaf spring. Quite a difference in diameter there. So obviously this one will require that diameter to get pushed down. It needs the rubber on the inside, then it needs the sleeve. I wonder where the sleeve is. Need to find the sleeve. Oh, there's the sleeve, isn't it weird? Interesting. I don't think I have to use exactly the same one, but basically that was inside there, and it's got a funny section in the middle. I'm actually wondering if this was designed with bushes that go in either side to meet up with that. That would make sense. But the ones I've seen for sale do not look like that. But as long as the diameter is good, then it doesn't matter. I can get whatever bolt size I need to fit in the inside. Okay, that was easy. So I just need to get the bushings out of the other spring and then get the springs all cleaned up. Then I can paint them and they'll be ready for all their new parts. Now, I had a look up. Chevs of the 40s and the filling station seem to have all the parts they require. I think Speedway and Summit probably have them as well, but they're not as specialised as Chevs of the 40s. I know it's Chevs of the 40s, but they do older stuff as well. So that is the plan, but I'm still not going to order everything, or I'm not going to order anything until I know everything that I need. I don't want to make any mistakes this time. I want to get it right. And I'm learning as I go, which is a good thing. So again, thanks to Randy Ward and John Hodges. They helped me this morning come to the conclusion that I'm going to go with the stock parts, actually. I know they're old technology, but they're still pretty clever. So that's what we're going for. What else are we doing? Yeah, I'll get on with that, get them painted up, put them out the way, ready for reinstall. And I can do the door card stuff anytime. Right, Saturday night. Have a nice night, everybody. Stay safe. See you in the next one. Bye.